Let's talk about min-maxing. The more unhinged I make these intros, the better. Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about a topic that I think is definitely going to get a lot of people confused and upset. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're open-minded. I gotta change shirts. Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about min-maxing and why min-maxing is actually good for Dungeons and Dragons. Oh boy, let's go. Reminder! All Offbeat Outlaw patrons get to see my content 24 hours early. So if that seems interesting to you, I highly encourage you to do that, you slimy salamander. I'm a Patreon to get all my videos 24 hours early, as well as access to the Power Builds character sheets and Hero Forges that I've been making recently. Obviously, you gotta pay for the Hero Forge, but if you just wanna look at the 3D model, it's there, you know? Now, if you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you know the title of this video is called Why You Should MinMax. I'm not trying to invalidate the way that you play. I don't want you to leave this video thinking that you are playing D&D wrong if you don't min-max. I don't want this video to be me telling you how you should change your game or how you should play. It's the title, it's clickbait. What I'm actually trying to say here is, why don't you give this method of play a chance? Because, I'm gonna be honest, min-maxing is not a terribly popular playstyle anymore, or power building in general. There's definitely some YouTubers and content creators out there who are focusing on it. Myself, Treant Monk, D4 Deep Dive, Pack Tactics, all lovely creators. But it's definitely not the most popular way to play this game. The most popular way to play the game is the style of Critical Role. Role-play heavy, grand story arcs, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that method of play. I don't want that to be the message. That's great. I'm actually really happy because that is one of the most accessible ways to play. You barely even need to know the rules to play that way. That's awesome. I'm actually happy that people are playing this game that I love. However, now that I do know that there's a bit of an urge and a bit of a push that I'm sensing within the Dungeons and Dragons fan base, some people are looking for something different. And some people, maybe they've played roleplay heavy for years, and now they want to try something else, and that is what I'm offering here today. That's something else. And that something else is mechanics heavy D&D. Mechanics first. Let's rebrand it. Let's not call it min-maxing. Min-maxing got a lot of bad connotation with it. Min-maxing comes with it the baggage of people who usually like min-maxing, which are bad people. I'm not gonna lie. It's the truth! You're gonna look at me and tell me I'm wrong? People who typically like min-maxing are not good people. They're not good D&D players. They're sore losers. They hate losing. They hate missing. They hate failing. And those people are bad. Those people are annoying. And I don't think we should want to be like that. So in order to distance this style of play from those bad people, let's call this mechanics first D&D, where players and DMs alike focus on the mechanics of the game. Focus on telling compelling stories within the rules and confines of the game in order to make both the game and the story married. And they can kiss. This is gonna be a part of a much longer series of videos, by the way. This isn't the only video I'm gonna be making on this topic. This topic is massive and expansive, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to cover all of it today. So I'm gonna be covering a lot of the basics and an argument that I think everybody is going to like. The mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons can actually assist the story and backstory of the players. And I think the best way to get through this is with a bit of an example. Imagine for a moment that you are a brand new player to this game. You have just started playing, you barely understand this game. Your dungeon master is pretty capable. And in order to best help you try out different playstyles, they suggest that you play a paladin. Because the paladin allows you to try out spell casting, melee fighting, and if you're incredibly bold, maybe even ranged, though that's not recommended. But you start trying out the different playstyles and you quickly realize you like damage. You like Divine Smite. In fact, you might even say it's your favorite ability in the game. It's so simple and elegant. Spend a spell slot, do extra damage. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you like it, and you have fun with it. And you start off by smiting things in your path left, right, and center. Smiting kobolds and orcs and bandits and creatures from the deep. You're having a blast with Divine Smite. And you haven't really written your backstory yet because you didn't really know what to write, but now you're inspired. Your character has been felling so many things in one strike. You start writing. And you write, my character is capable of felling anything in a single hit. a powerful warrior who once even struck down, you don't know what they struck down. So you look to the monster manual and you see the cover is a picture of a beholder, and you go, struck down a beholder in a single hit. Check. And it's a simple backstory, but it's the game, and you're having a blast, and it, for the most part, kind of fits. And you start playing, and you're playing, and you're playing, and then all of a sudden you reach high level. Your abilities are powerful, your smites hit hard, and then you finally go up against a beholder. And this is where the tragedy occurs for our young hero. They've been playing this game this whole time, claiming to be capable of felling a beholder in one hit. They've now gone into bars and bragged about it. They've used it. And they're finally now face to face with something in game. They go to hit it, and they fail. They barely do 50 damage. I mean, I say barely do 50 damage as if that's small for a single hit. That's a lot of damage, but that's barely a quarter of the HP bar for a beholder. And in that moment, that new player has just been told one thing. Your imagination is too big for D&D. And that's heartbreaking, if I'm being honest. That's really sad. I don't want that to be the message that my players have when they're playing this game. I don't want them to think that their imaginations are not possible. I don't want them playing this game and thinking, oh, I can't do that because the mechanics of this game are too limiting. I want them to be inspired with the mechanics. I want them to look at this game and think, my imagination is possible. So let's try it. Let's say that they're playing now at my table, you know, the Chad of this. He would say with a shameful face. Get out of here, gamers. The Chad D&D players in town. The Chad gamers arrived in town, and he's got some words for you, bucko. They come to my table, and I see their backstory. They claim to be capable of felling a beholder in one hit. And I see this in their backstory, and I note it. And I go, hey, so you've currently written something in your backstory that, if your current class trajectory, might not be possible. However, I know how to do it. And usually when I approach my players with this proposition, they go, really? With an excited glint in their eye. And I say, yeah, let's get to work. And I show them my freaking one-hit build that I made. And I show them that it's capable of felling not only beholders, but a lot of things in one hit. And they go, oh my god, this is amazing. Thank you. I'll definitely get this together. And so they start focusing on that in their classes and in their backstory. They start realizing that they need to somehow get a pact with a warlock to make this possible. With a warlock patron, a hexblade no less. So they need to find it and make the pact. They need to become a cleric, so they need to start focusing more on their clerical abilities. Or even with, you can even reflavor all of that just to be a very special type of paladin. Reflavoring is an incredibly powerful tool. And so then they finally come face to face with this beholder, this thing that they have claimed to be capable of defeating this whole time. They finally come face to face with it. They look me in the eye. I give them the nod. Go for it. And so they activate their Path to the Grave feature, giving their target vulnerability to all damage. They action surge. They bonus action cast Branding Smite at max level on their weapon. They hit. They use Booming Blade to strike. They add on Divine Smite. They add on Eldritch Smite. The Branding Smite goes off. All of it is doubled because of vulnerability. And you start tallying up the dice. And that player gets to look at you with a satisfying grin and say 108 damage times 2, 216 damage. And that is one dead beholder in one hit. So all of a sudden, that player has just been told, and they now get to carry with them for the rest of their D&D careers, that my imagination is possible. I just have to look for it. I can make whatever I imagine possible in Dungeons and Dragons. I can do this. The mechanics are my tool to letting my imagination come to life, as I have just been shown. That, to me, is proof that the mechanics are great. That, to me, that watching the satisfaction in that player's face when they land it and they're smiling and they're thinking, oh my god, my character's backstory wasn't just a bluff, it was real. That's so satisfying. Looking how satisfied they are. I don't know how you can say min-maxing's bad for the table when you're looking at that player with a gigantic fucking grin in their mouth. And the rest of the party's looking at them like, holy shit, we have a goddamn powerhouse on our team. We got a truck. We have a semi-truck steaming through our team. Let's play with this more. How can we abuse this tactic even better? And me, as the dungeon master, I'm sitting there going, bring it the fuck on. But that is really what is the most satisfying thing about Dungeons and Dragons to me, and min-maxing and mechanics first D&D. It is making those incredible backstory feats come to life. That is something that is so satisfying to me and is so important to me when helping my players with their backstories. Because if their imaginations aren't possible, that's a failing. So you gotta make it possible. And the mechanics will usually allow it. I mean, if the player came up to me and said, like I want to fell up a Tarrasque in one hit, I'd be like, okay, you need to get extremely lucky in order for that to happen. Let's think of something more consistent. But still like a crazy feat. Like killing a beholder in one hit is still a crazy feat. With this build, by the way, that I just mentioned, you could kill a demon lord in one hit if you critical hit. So there's options. All this to say, mechanics first D&D can be one of the most satisfying gameplay experiences you can have. And I encourage everybody who is not giving it a try to give it a shot. There's a bit of a learning curve. You gotta learn the mechanics of combat. You gotta look at a lot of abilities and know how they work. But if you can take the time to do it, I guarantee you're gonna have a lot of fun when you finally drop yourself into the game. This is the first in a long series of videos that I'm gonna start making. I'm gonna be teaching both players and dungeon masters how to run mechanics first D&D in a way that is fun and satisfying. I've already kind of touched on it on both the player and DM side for this video, but there's definitely a very different skill set that I've been on both sides of, and I feel like I have a unique ability to communicate to all of you. So if this interests you, stick around and have fun. By the way, did you know that 90% of my viewers are not subscribed? Why don't you hit that subscribe button, huh? Why don't you hit that subscribe button? But that is all for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this series that's to come. I hope this video has helped maybe change your mind a little bit about mechanics first D&D. If it hasn't, well, subscribe and maybe I'll change your mind again tomorrow. Now get the fuck out of my house!